Hi y'all, welcome back to Sarah's Shelves. I don't mind my wrist, sorry, okay. I wanted to show you something super awesome I figured out in the past couple weeks of just being stuck at home with the snow and everything and trying things, experimenting, and something I came up with. Okay, so dehydrating meats is a question I get a lot. So I have tried a couple different ways. None of which I was really excited about because it took a lot of time to bring back in the meals in a jars type situation. If you're cooking dinner and you want it easy, quick, throw in the pan, that's perfectly fine. But I was looking more for if you were camping, hiking, or anything like that, that it was super easy, or if you didn't have access to a stove or boiling water or baking in the oven. So I wanted a little bit more quicker method. Okay, so first off, I'm going to show you my first round of dehydrating chicken, which is not a bad method at all. I had actually seen it on YouTube, and I cut chicken into strips, and I baked it in the oven until it was cooked. It was no longer pink, juices were flowing clear, and then I dehydrated it. After that, this is what you're left with. It's pretty hard. It will come back using it in any recipe. It's fine. You can use it. It takes about 25 to 30 minutes to bring it back. So I was looking for something a little more quick to come back than that. And I saw a guy's video the other day that he said that he used canned chicken, like that you would buy it at the grocery store. So I thought, you know what? I can chicken all the time. This is one of my jars of chicken that I canned. So I have tons of those on my shelf in my pantry. So I thought, let's give this a try. So I opened one of my jars and I broke up my chicken, just kind of shredded it thinly and put it on my dehydrator. I slowly dehydrated it. You don't want to use a high temperature because it will get crusty on the outside, but it will not get all the way done on the inside. So I put it at 125 degrees and let it go and kept checking it out. I should have timed it, but I didn't. So I'm actually going to do that, and I'll make a video specifically about that. I will show you how I put it on my trays and everything like that. But what I wanted to show you guys is the results. So this is the chicken. It's not as much as in cubes. It's smaller pieces, which is okay. If you're in a setting where you're hiking, camping, or whatever the case may be, you still get your proteins, or in emergency situations. So this is the chicken that I came up with. I actually made chicken noodle soup with it, and it was super good. So I'm going to try something else. I've already made my macaroni and cheese in a jars, so I wanted to kind of experiment with this and play with it and see how it does. So the macaroni and cheese in jars, I have the regular macaroni and cheese, and then I also do a white cheddar macaroni and cheese. So I thought, why not do something with that? So I'm basically going to do this, and I'm going to add a little bit of ranch flavor to it, and I'm going to also add chicken to it. So we're going to give it a shot and see how it goes. Alright, so let me get a jar here. I'm going to start off with the same thing that I would use for the white cheddar macaroni and cheese in a jar. So we are going to do 1/3 cup of the soup base. And I already did a video on the soup base. So if you were curious about how to make that, I already have a video up about that. And like I said, I'm going to do a video and show exactly how I'm going to actually open this jar. And I'm going to dehydrate it next. So at first, I'm just going to make this. Just because I was already doing it, and I thought, why not show it to you guys? Okay. So 1/3 cup of soup base. And then I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of this. I just recently started, let me talk about that first. I pretty much dehydrate all my own stuff. But there are some things that I wanted to use for backpacking and stuff like that that are quicker. Any of the things that I dehydrate that work great for home or camping trips, stuff like that. But I wanted to kind of experiment with some of the freeze-dried goods and see how it went. So this is all kind of experiments to me. We're going to give it a try and see how it goes. So I'm going to use 5 teaspoons, which this is only, or I'm sorry, 5 tablespoons. This is only half, so we're going to need 10 of these. I should have planned this out, but like I said, I'm just sitting here. We have so much snow right now and ice. We're kind of all stuck inside. So I figured, why not get out some of this stuff and play around with it and see where we go with it. Okay, then I'm going to add, oh, that's onion powder. We don't want to add 1 tablespoon of that. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of sour cream powder, which I'm also going to put on the dehydrator the same time with this chicken. So I'll show you guys both of those at the same time. Okay, we're going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of mustard powder. And just so you guys know, I'm going to show you the sour cream and maybe a couple other things that I do that people have a lot of questions about. But a lot of these things are the same. So take what I show you from the sour cream powder and say if you want to do mustard powder, do it the same way. Okay, we're going to add a heaping 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder. We're going to add a little pink Himalayan sea salt, or pink Himalayan salt, whatever you call it. Okay, shake that down a little bit. We're going to add a couple shakes of pepper in there. A little parsley. A little basil. Okay, a couple of things that are going to be different from what I do with my actual macaroni and cheese mix. I am going to add 1/4 of a teaspoon of roasted garlic. Like I said, I'm just throwing this together, and whenever you guys do these meals in a jar, just play around with it. Try new things. I'm going to add 1/4 of a tablespoon of ranch and a little bit of garlic powder. This is coarse garlic powder. Okay, so that is what I add with my macaroni and cheese, except for a couple other things. I'm going to add some of this chicken. I think it ended up being a cup. We're going to try it anyways. I'm going to add a cup of chicken. Shake that all down. And then I'm just going to use elbow macaroni. And we're going to fill the jar the rest of the way. Or pretty close anyways. I'll have to grab some more and fill that the rest of the way. And then I'm going to add some green onions, just because I love them. Okay. So, let's talk about bringing this back. When you're bringing this back, you're going to, if it was full of macaroni and cheese, which I'll put a little bit more in there afterwards, you would dump all of this into your pot, and then you would use 2 jars of water. That's because I have not cooked and dehydrated this macaroni and cheese. Otherwise, you would use probably 1 jar, or maybe a little bit more. And you have to account for the chicken. So, which it doesn't take very much. We did it in a bowl the other night. It took 3 minutes to bring back the chicken in a little cup of just room temperature water, which is pretty amazing because the other one, if you remember, it took 25 to 35 minutes in a bowl of room temperature water. So, big difference there. You can do that with all of your meats. So if you're doing chicken, if you're doing burger, if you're doing steak, whichever it is, try using your canned meats. It's been in the liquid and it's a lot softer. Or if you want to just start from the get-go, boil your meats and then put them on your dehydrator. They're a lot softer and it's not so crunchy from cooking it in the oven. So that's one thing that I found that is a little bit different. So here is the meal in a jar. And I'm actually going to go cook this. And I will give you a video and show you what we end up with. Okay? Alright guys, so I came to the kitchen. We're going to actually cook this now. So I'm going to dump everything that I have in here. First, let's shake it up. I like to mix everything up just so nothing's stuck together. Okay. We're just going to dump it in the pot. And we're going to fill our jar. I'm going to do 1.5 jars of water because I didn't have quite so much pasta. So water pressure. Okay. So there's one. All right, so we're going to put 1.5 jars of water. We're going to mix everything in really good. And I'm going to let this boil. What you see in there is we've got everything going. And we will let this boil here for a couple minutes and we will be right back to show you the outcome.